this thing even focusing? Hi, it's me, Doofus McFacin, and I have some very sad news to report that my poor Opal back here has stopped working. My event Opal. I love this monitor. The good news is it stopped working right when I uploaded my album, so this is the perfect time for me to take it apart and see if I can fix it. So this video is me take apart my Opal right here in my kitchen. Sometimes being a musician is fixing your shit. Alright, first thing we need is a towel to keep from damaging the speaker because I'm gonna have to turn it on its face. So we'll do that. And now I'll go get the monitor, which is a challenge because it's very heavy. Made out of magnesium. Alright, so here it is. This is an event Opal. These things are sick, and this is my favorite speaker I've ever owned. Isn't that sick? It's the coolest looking speaker I've ever seen. So this is one driver, but it functions like two drivers coaxially, and then that's a beryllium tweeter. It produces down to like 20 hertz, all the way up to like 40,000. Although you don't need to hear all the way up to 40 kilohertz because humans can really only hear about 20,000, yada blah 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 blah. I'm not getting into the audiophile shit with you crazy audiophiles. Y'all are the worst. Actually, humans can't hear. Shut the fuck up. So I've got to put it on its face. It's just, you're not supposed to do this to speakers, so it just feels wrong. But like, it's broken. Like, you know, what am I gonna do? Break it more? Actually, I could very well break it more. There we go. Cool. I don't know how to open this up. Let's get the other camera going so you can see what I'm looking at. Alright, from here on out it's going to be voiceover because this camera's microphone sucks. I just want to say a quick welcome to anybody who's new to the channel. My name is Gardner. I go by GARDNSOUND. This channel typically is music tutorials via Ableton or Bitwig. But, you know, I can't make any tutorials if my speakers aren't working. So today's a little bit different. Sometimes I upload things that are me fixing random household stuff, like I uploaded a video a while back about fixing a toilet. This one is about fixing speakers. So, kind of turning this place into a variety channel. So if you're down for a variety of videos with my usual sense of humor, and yeah, stick around. Hit that subscribe button. Gently, please. Don't hurt your fingers. Don't smash your digits into the screen trying to subscribe. You can definitely take your time. Don't hurt your body. I don't want any lawsuits for corporal damage because of you guys trying to smash the button. Okay, it's just a button. You don't have to smash it. Just give it a tap. All right, so pulling the heatsink off is not the move. There's things connected to it from the other side. So I need to find another way in, and this is like just typical. Like, I don't really know what the procedure for taking this apart is, and again, they don't make these anymore, and this company doesn't exist anymore. So my next move, I believe, is going to be taking the housing apart, and it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large Allen bolts that are holding the case together. I think that'll be a better method of taking it apart instead of take this out, and I can't see what's holding it together, but I might be able to see what's holding it together if I take the housing apart. That's my hope, at least. Here we go. So as I alluded to earlier, this company event no longer exists. They were purchased by Rode. And having worked at large corporations in support departments, I can tell you right now that when products are sunset, it's typical for a company not to transfer documentation if they're purchased on the products that have been sunset, right? It's just for the ones that are in current use by their client base. I don't know the status of this particular speaker in terms of like what Rode would maintain and what they would support. And I don't really want to get stuck in that corporate loop of this isn't our problem, right? That the buck passing is so corporate. And that would be downtime for me. That would be downtime for these speakers. So part of having legacy equipment is just being comfortable with taking them apart and knowing that, you know, whether or not I have a warranty, which probably doesn't exist anymore, I'm not really going to do anything they wouldn't do. Okay, so I'm having trouble getting the two halves apart, and I'm not babying it, and I think that's something that a lot of people will kind of like get fucked up on, is they'll get to this point and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to hurt it. Here's the thing, if a technician that you send this to, like if you send this to somebody to work on it, they're going to have to do the same thing. So it's like, you're probably going to be gentler with your speaker than a technician will, because it's not their speaker. Just saying. I'm not speaking for every technician out there, but I like to keep that in mind. Like, I'm going to be better, I'm going to treat this thing probably better than a technician would, even if I'm being a little rough on it. So that's the truth. There's just a bit of confidence that you have to have when you're doing stuff like this, and you can see that after I hit it around a little bit with the palm of my hand, I did knock loose the two halves and was able to get it separated. Alright, this is the bottom of the unit. I lift it up, you can see there's a ribbon cable here, and it's pretty much being held in place by that ribbon cable. I'm going to cut this right here so I can give myself some more slack. I'll have to re-zip tie it later. There's another one in here. Sorry, I'm getting in the way of the camera. Okay. There's nowhere to set this thing. There we go. Okay, and then you gotta flip it. Okay, I wish I had done that with the camera on the other side. I'm sorry. You cut those ribbons and then basically you can flip it open to see everything. All right, I'm gonna bring the camera on the other side. So these are power cables for the drivers. And I'm not really worried about that. I don't see any problems on those boards. The brown and black is the high driver, and the red and black is the low driver. What I'm really worried about are these ribbon cables. See if I can turn this thing anyway. Let me disconnect the speakers. Alright, brown and black is the top. Well, that broke. Alright, we've got a broken Molex connector. Great. It's just old. That's what they do. See, that one just broke. I ain't scared. There's one part of the broken Molex connector. Where's the other part? There's another piece of a broken Molex connector in there somewhere. I will find it eventually, I suppose. Okay, so that looks fine. The connections for the tweeter look fine. There's the Molex connector. Got it. All right. Let's see if I can orient this a different way so that I can lay both halves on its back so we can see it. Now the problem is happening when this thing heats up for like after it's been on for a while. So I'm thinking it's either a loose cable or a bad capacitor or something like that. So this is the power. That is the input board. I'm just going to disconnect these and reseat them. That's all I'm going to do. Those are actually Euro rack cables, 20-pin Euro rack cables, or ribbon cables. I don't see any bad capacitors. Fuse looks fine. This is the transformer, it looks fine. It's the toroid. There's actually transformers inside of this heatsink. Those capacitors aren't swelling, they look fine. You'd see swelling on the top of the cap. It looks fine. There's a ceramic capacitor in there, it looks fine. I don't see any obvious signs of like circuit board malfunction. It's pretty easy to see. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going with my unplug and replug things. Bit of hot glue holding that on, that's about it. These are keyed, so there's no wrong way to insert them, which is handy. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's these actuated things on the side, kind of like seating ram sticks that you can open up and put it back. Obviously I can't reseat that one, that's on the power board, but this one down here is begging for a reseat. Begging for it. Alright, so all those have been reseated. I don't see any other obvious signs of damage. I'm going to close it back up and see if that fixed the issue. So this last step is just a matter of putting things back in the order that they came out. Typically when I'm doing a teardown of something that I'm not familiar with, I like to put the bolts surrounding the unit where I pulled them out from. I got a teeny bit mixed up here, but I'm fortunate because the bolt pattern is super simple. There aren't a ton of them, and they're all the same fastener, so it wasn't like I could confuse longer bolts in the bottom of the unit for shorter bolts in the top or anything like that. It did take me 2 attempts to line the back of the casing up with the front of the casing. So here's a pro tip for anybody who is taking apart metal stuff like this. If you want to get the alignment correct, the best way to do it is to set 2 halves or 2 whatevers that you're fastening together, and then put the bolts in a star pattern and do not tighten them down all the way. Like only get maybe 2 or 3 threads started such that they'll hold together without moving, and then kind of go around the unit and jostle it and shift it a little bit to get everything to line up perfectly, and then tighten things down in a star pattern. You'll find more success that way, or at least I find more success that way. Alright, so that concludes my attempt to fix it. Whether or not it works, that's all I know how to do. So if it needs more work, it'll go to a service center. If it doesn't, great. But let's find out. Okay, let's turn it on and see if it works. This thing should light up if there's power, and we should be hearing a clean signal. But here's the thing, even if this doesn't work, I tried. Feels good. Not gonna be mad if it doesn't work. Power's on. It's running checks. Sounds normal. Let's play something through it. What should I play through it? I don't know, Gardner. Maybe you should play your new song. Great idea, Gardner. We need to play some more shit through it for a longer period of time. It has to warm up, I think. We'll come back. I'll leave the camera there.